Yes. Welcome back to the next session of rehabilitation and retrofitting of structures course. In the last session, we have discussed or we have come across the various corrosion protection techniques we have been discussed. So next we'll come to the next topic in this particular module number 3, that is effect of cover thickness and cracking on concrete, or I can say reinforced concrete. Okay, effect of cover thickness and cracking on concrete. So this particular topic which is in the module number 3 which is connected to finally corrosion. The finally lead of cover is corrosion only. So in this particular concept we will learn exactly what is cover, why we need to give cover, or what is the necessity of cover, what are the provisions made by IS 456 code, and what are all the circumstances you will come across in practice regarding to the cover. So all those things we will learn one by one. So coming to the topic, that is effect of cover thickness and cracking. The first thing is, let me define what is cover. First let me define what is cover. So cover can be defined in several ways. So first I am going to define in a general way. A cover is defined as, it is a spacer, the spacer or an element that is going to be provided between the reinforced bar and the concrete surface. That means it is going to separate the rebar, that is reinforcement steel bar, and a concrete surface. So in the space between the rebar and the concrete surface, that particular separator or a spacer which I am going to provide is called as cover. And also you people have studied in your design of RC structural elements course regarding this particular definition. So this is the generalized definition I can define, that is, it is a spacer that will be provided to separate the rebar and a concrete surface. Why? So that we are going to study in the next. Now coming to the technical definition. What exactly is cover? You can see from the figure, so I have been provided one particular, in the picture I have been showcased one particular beam. In that particular beam I have been showcased the longitudinal steel or longitudinal bars, and longitudinal bars have been connected with the stirrups, or I can say vertical steel. You already know the longitudinal steel will be provided to take care of a flexure, and this particular vertical steel or stirrups will be provided to take care of shear. So you already know this, and you people have done the analysis and the design, all those things you people have been done in the RC elements course. So now the main thing we want to know here is regarding a cover. So if I want to define a cover based upon the diagram or based upon the reinforced concrete element, you can see from the photo, it is the distance between, the surface of a bar, that is in the bottom you can see the 3 number of bars have been provided, from the bottom surface of a bar to the edge of a concrete surface. From the bottommost surface of a rebar or a steel bar up to the edge of a concrete surface is called as cover. So this is a technical way of defining, okay, based upon the reinforced concrete. Based upon the reinforced concrete. I will repeat. It is the distance between the bottom edge of a rebar to the edge of a concrete surface is called as cover. Okay, and you people might have come across the various nomenclature or can say terminologies in the cover in your design of RC elements class, that is clear cover, nominal cover, and the next is effective cover. Okay, so now you can see from the photo that it is the width of a beam is B, overall depth of a beam is capital D, that is denoted by capital D. Okay, and now based upon that photo I have been defined this clear cover and a nominal cover. Okay, that means it is the distance between the bottommost surface of a rebar to the edge of a concrete surface is called as cover, which have been defined, so that will come under clear cover or I can say nominal cover. Both are same. Cover, clear cover, nominal cover. So all these terminologies are one and the same. It is the distance between the bottom edge of a rebar or bottom surface of a rebar up to the edge of a concrete surface is called clear cover, cover or nominal cover. All the three terminologies are same. Now, what about effective cover? What about effective cover? Effective cover, you people have studied in your RC element course once again. So, you can see from the, once again from the photo. So, I am going to define this effective cover based upon the photo or I can say figure. It is the distance between, topmost, I can say, you can see from the thing that is that from the topmost or a edge of a concrete surface is called as a extreme compression fiber. Okay, the top edge of a beam is called as extreme compression fiber or top edge of a compression fiber up to the centroidal axis of a steel, is called as effective depth. You can see they have been clearly mentioned over there. From the top edge of a extreme compression fiber to the centroidal axis of a tension steel is called effective depth, denoted by small letter d. Okay, overall depth is capital D. Okay, and it is effective depth. Okay, now let me go with the effective cover. Now, effective cover is defined as, why I have defined effective depth? Because based upon the effective depth, I am going to connect this effective cover. That's why first I have been defined effective depth. So now, effective cover is defined as, it is the distance between centroidal axis of a tension steel. It is the distance between centroidal axis of a tension steel. Why I am specifying tension steel? Because the steel provided in the tension zone, that's why it is called tension steel. Okay. It is the distance between the centroidal axis of a tension steel up to the edge of a concrete surface is called as effective cover. Up to the edge of a concrete surface is called as effective cover. See, in the clear cover, nominal cover I have defined the bottom edge or the bottom surface of a rebar up to the edge of a concrete surface is clear cover or nominal cover. But effective cover is defined as from the centroidal axis of a tension steel up to the edge of a concrete surface is called as effective cover. Because these three terminologies you need to be very carefully understand, okay, before proceeding with the further discussion. Is it clear? Is it clear? Hope the cover, clear cover, nominal cover and effective cover concept has been clearly clarified. So that's why in RC Elements course, you people have keep on calculating this effective depth, overall depth, effective cover, all these things you people have might calculating. Okay, so that's why you people know that without knowing the effective cover, you cannot know the overall depth. Okay, or in order to calculate the effective depth, you require a effective cover. So all these three things are interconnected: overall depth, effective depth and effective cover. Is it clear? So hope the things has been clarified. Okay, from the photo you can clearly see the width, overall depth, longitudinal bars, stirrups, effective depth, all the things have been showcased over there. Okay, so now the definition part, hope it has been clarified. Now, next thing is coming to the necessity. Coming to the necessity. Now, why I need to provide a cover? Now I have defined. It is a distance between the bottom edge of a rebar to the concrete surface, or it is the element provided between the rebar and the concrete surface. Now the question arises, why I need to provide that element or a spacer? Okay, the very first thing is to protect. The first necessity is to protect the steel. To protect the steel. Why I need to protect the steel? From what I need to protect the steel? I am going to protect the steel from the environmental effects. From environmental effects. Why? To prevent, we have been discussed, corrosion. To prevent corrosion. So in order to prevent corrosion, okay, we are going to protect. Okay, so this cover will act like a barrier to the steel bar. It will act like a barrier to the steel bar. That means whatever the cover block that you have been provided, okay, so that will try to prevent the steel from the environmental effects. So this have been discussed in the last sessions, that is corrosion part. We know that the chloride gases or chlorides, okay, and also you know that the oxygen, okay, so once it enter inside the concrete element, it will try to damage the steel bar. So all those mechanisms you have been discussed or we have been learned. Okay, so once again I am repeating here. So in order to protect those environmental hazards or environmental effects, I am going to protect the steel from this cover or from this element. Why? To prevent the corrosion. So that particular cover have been provided or I am going to provide in order to protect the steel from a corrosion. So now I can say that, okay, lesser, okay, if I am not going to give a more concentration upon the cover, the reinforced concrete element will be more prone to corrosion. More prone to corrosion. So in order to prevent that, I need to provide a cover. Is it clear? So that is the first point. Okay, and the next point is to provide thermal insulation. To provide thermal insulation. Okay. So why I need to provide a thermal insulation from this cover? Why I need to provide? Because by providing the cover, okay, the thermal insulation property will be improved, because I need to protect the reinforced concrete element, or I can say the rebar, from the fire. So these two are the hazards. So in order to protect from the fire, in order to protect from the corrosion, I need to provide that particular cover or a spacer in between the rebar and a concrete surface, so that I can prevent these two problems, that is corrosion and a fire. And a very important thing is, you know that concrete is a very good member to resist a fire compared to the steel. It has got a very good, what I can say, fire resistant property. The concrete has got a good fire resistant property compared to the steel. You know that a concrete can deform, or a compressive strength of a concrete will be decreased, okay, up to a, or I can say the concrete can withstand a temperature up to 400 to 600 degrees centigrade, based upon the type of a concrete. It may be, that depends upon the material you have been incorporated. Whatever the material, that is FRC, SCC, that is self-compacting concrete, fiber reinforced concrete, normal concrete, that depends upon the type of a concrete. But a normal concrete, I can say, it can withstand the temperature up to 400 degrees centigrade. It will be stable. Once, if the temperature goes beyond 400 degrees centigrade, the compressive strength of a concrete will be reduced. Or I can say, the crack will be initiated, there is a chance of collapse. But in the case of a steel, okay, the temperature, okay, will be more prone. That means, what I can say, it will not withstand that much of temperature as that of concrete. Is it clear? So, in order to protect from these two things, that is, one is from the corrosion and from the fire, so this particular cover is very, 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 very important. Is it clear? So, hope the necessity things has been clarified. So, this is the two main things. And one more thing, commonly they used to say that is, by providing this element, okay, this rebar, cover, I can say, it will transfer the stresses in the rebar properly. Okay, that is not much used to say, but these two things are very, very important. One is in order to protect from a corrosion, and another one is in order to protect from the fire. So these two parameters is very, very important. In order to protect these two things, I am going to provide a cover. Okay. Now, next thing is, you have been accommodated a cover, or you have been provided a cover. Usually, commonly, they used to call it as cover blocks. Commonly used to call it as cover blocks. So, these particular cover blocks, they are going to provide between a rebar and a concrete. So, now, in order to confirm whether they have been provided with a proper cover or not, or I can say, in order to measure the thickness of a cover, okay, what is the cover that has been accommodated in between the rebar and a concrete surface? Okay, for example, you people have already constructed a building, you want to visit that building, or you want to inspect that building. If you want to inspect that building, already constructed building, if you want to know the cover, how will you come across that? While constructing, you will be providing so and so thickness of a cover, which I am going to discuss now. Next. Okay, what is the cover you need to be provided? So, if that particular required thickness, if you are going to provide during the construction practice, you will come to know. But while inspecting a building, okay, if you come across any damage in a beam or a column or a slab, okay, if that particular damage that has been happened due to the insufficient cover, how will you come to know? because that cover already been embedded inside the reinforced concrete element. How will you come to know? So that if I want to know, or if I want to know what is the cover that has been provided during a construction, okay, so that will be done. Okay, that means measurement. Okay, or I can say a device used to measure the cover is profoscope. Profoscope. Okay, so this is a device, okay, commonly used, okay, in order to measure the cover. So this particular profoscope, okay, will be manufactured by various companies. The predominant company is Prosek. Okay, you can see from the photo. Okay, you can see from the photo have been showcased over there. So that particular profoscope, you can see that is from a Prosek. Many companies used to manufacture the profoscope. The Bosch company. The Bosch company also manufactures this profoscope. Okay, and this profoscope is also called as cover meter. One more now, okay, name is cover meter. The profoscope will be also called as cover meter. Okay, you can see that clearly it is specifying. If I want to know the cover, I am going to use the device called cover meter. By using this profoscope, I can know what is the cover or the thickness that has been provided between the rebar and a concrete surface without damaging the concrete element. So without damaging, just place that profoscope. Just placing that profoscope, I can clearly know what is the cover that has been provided. Okay, so that is the fantastic thing we can do. That is what the techniques. And these techniques, once again, I am going to discuss in module number 2 while assessing. That is, in the damage assessment, I am going to discuss various instruments or assessment techniques. Is it clear? So that, okay, profoscope they are going to use in order to find the thickness of a cover. And also this profoscope they are going to use in order to locate a rebar. Okay, by placing that profoscope on the specified place of a concrete element, we can know where exactly the rebar comes. For example, while doing NDT testing, this profoscope helps a lot, because in non-destructive testing, which I am going to discuss in the module number 2, one particular assessment technique is there that is called ultrasonic pulse velocity test. In that ultrasonic pulse velocity test, if I am going to send that particular waves, okay, through the concrete elements, that particular wave should not pass through the rebar. Okay, that's why in order to identify where exactly the rebar will come on the reinforced concrete element, this profoscope will helps or will locate where exactly the rebar will come. So that's why this profoscope, apart from the cover meter, it will also act as a rebar locator. It will also act as a rebar locator. Just placing that profoscope on the particular place of a reinforced concrete element, we can know where exactly the rebar will come. What is the cover that has been provided. So both the things we can locate from this profoscope. And the cost of this instrument will vary depending upon the company. A Prosek company quite costlier, and it is quite good company that manufactures various non-destructive and semi-destructive techniques, or I can say are instruments that manufacture various non-destructive techniques, or I can say instruments. So the price is a little bit higher in the Prosek company. Okay, in the Bosch I think it will come down, I think 60,000 or 50,000 in the Bosch, but little bit higher in the case of a Prosek company. Okay, and this particular instrument helps a lot while doing the inspection of the building. so that you can locate the rebar, you can know the cover thickness, okay, and you can go ahead with the inspection. Why? Because if you are not going to provide a proper thickness, if you are not going to provide a required thickness, okay, as per the code, as per the IS 456-2000, if you are not going to provide a nominal cover or a clear cover as specified by the IS 456, it will lead to these problems. So that's why, in order to know whether these corrosion problem that has been happened, because while inspecting the building you may come across the corrosion, because the rebar will be exposed outside. If the rebar is exposed outside, means there is a problem regarding a cover. So now we can know that whether the cover has been provided or not. All those things, that is the required thickness has been provided or not. All those things I can know by these things. Nowadays advanced instrument has been came this thing. Okay, nowadays a little bit advanced instrument that is called Profoscope or Profometer is there. So in that particular instrument you can know this rebar locator and a cover. In that particular instrument you can know the cover thickness, you can locate the bar, and also you can know the diameter of a bar inside that reinforced concrete element. Diameter, spacing, all those things you can know. That is added element inside that instrument, Profometer. Is it clear? It is a little bit costlier compared to this, and it will vary depending upon the sensitivity. 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs instrument is there. Okay, there you can detect the cover, okay, rebar locator, rebar spacing, all those things you can do. Okay, so this is regarding your measurement. So now come to the very important thing, that is provision for cover as per IS 456-2000. Provision for cover as per IS 456-2000. Okay. So now you can see once again I have been showcased on the particular table. I have been picked this particular table from IS 456. Okay, page number I can say 47, page 47, from there I have been picked. The two tables are there. Coming to the first table, that is table number 16. Table number 16, they have been clearly specifying that nominal cover to meet durability requirements. That is the heading. Nominal cover to meet the durability requirements. Durability requirements in order to protect the reinforced concrete, okay, element or a rebar from a external, okay, or the environmental hazards. Okay, so for that let me go ahead with, they have been bifurcated into two tables. You can see one is you can see in the first column they have been clearly saying that exposure condition. In the second column, okay, they have been showcased nominal cover. Okay, in the coming to the first, the exposure condition mild, moderate, severe, very severe, okay, extreme. Based upon the exposure condition, the nominal cover has been provided. Okay, what is that? You can see from the photo. For mild exposure condition, the nominal provided is 20 millimeter. Mild exposure condition 20 millimeter. That is the minimum. Minimum cover you need to provide for that particular exposure condition. Like that, moderate 30 millimeter. Okay, severe 45. Very severe 50. Okay, extreme 75. Okay, so from the table it is clearly saying that as the exposure condition get worse, okay, as the exposure condition get worse, okay, that means more prone to corrosion, I need to protect the rebar from a corrosion. I need to protect the rebar from a corrosion by providing a required thickness of a cover as specified by a IS 456. That means as the condition get worst, okay, that means for example, if I go to the coastal area, there is a more prone for a chloride, I can say, the chloride gas, I can say, that will inhibit inside the concrete element. Okay, so in order to protect that, I need to go ahead with a more thickness. Okay, because in a non-coastal area, you can reduce the thickness. That is, you can go with a mild exposure condition or moderate exposure condition. But in the case of a extreme or severe condition, you need to go ahead with a more cover thickness. Why? Because you need to protect that particular rebar, because that rebar has a more chance to get, okay, or more prone to the corrosion problem, because more chloride salts, okay, more oxygen will be present, so that it will get inside the concrete element to damage the rebar. So if by providing a more thickness cover, I can protect the steel from a corrosion. So that's why the table number 16, okay, they have been clearly specified based upon the exposure condition. Okay, the cover will also vary. As the condition get worst, okay, the cover should be increased in order to protect the steel from a corrosion. Is it clear? Okay. Coming to the next provision, that is table 16A. So the table 16A is clearly specifying, okay, if I want to protect from a fire. So first problem is regarding a corrosion. The second problem, that is regarding a fire, if I want to protect the fire. You can see from the table 16A, that is clearly saying that H by T based upon the depth, okay, and based upon the element, whether it is slab, beams, ribs, and also they have been once again bifurcated into, okay, simply supported slab, okay, or continuous slab, simply supported beam or continuous beam. Based upon that and based upon the thickness, okay, based upon the thickness and based upon the type of a beam, you need to provide a cover. You can see from the photo. Slab, okay, for a simply supported, what is the cover for based upon the H? For continuous, like that for a beam. So based upon the type of a beam and based upon the depth, okay, this cover, okay, but what I can say, this cover has been provided. Is it clear? So this is the provision made by IS 456. We need to clearly abide to that while, okay, while doing the construction practice. If you're going to fail in this, okay, these two problem arises. So you need to be very careful. Okay. So now if I want to say that apart from IS 456, if I want to say that if the cover, they are going to be provided based upon the reinforced concrete element. For example, in the case of a slabs, in the case of a reinforced concrete element like a slab, they are going to provide a cover of 15 to 20 millimeter. 15 to 20 millimeter. And all these covers will be a nominal cover. Please keep this in mind. That is edge of a, okay, or a bottom surface of a rebar to the edge of a concrete surface. That is called nominal cover. Okay. And slab is 15 to 20 millimeter. Beam is 20 to 30 millimeter. Like a slab, column 40 millimeter. Footing 50 millimeter. So based upon the reinforced concrete element, also this cover has been classified, or the cover thickness has been classified. Is it clear? Okay. So this is regarding the provisions regarding as per IS 456. Now, in the market, the various cover blocks are available. Okay, or I can say various types of materials, okay, that has been available. Okay, you can see from the photo. First photo, I have been provided with the concrete cover blocks. It is a commonly used cover blocks. Okay, a concrete means that it will be made up of a cement and all those things, and also that cover blocks holds a compressive strength of, I can say, 15 to 20 MPa. Sometimes that depends upon the concrete thickness you are going to provide, 20 MPa, 30 MPa. That will be the strength of that cover block. That will be the strength of a cover block. And also you can see that, okay, that that be semicircular portion will be accommodated on the top of a cover block. So that will be provided in order to hold the rebar. Okay, concrete cover blocks you can see. Like that you can see the polymer type. Nowadays it has become a fashion. Okay, instead of going with a concrete, they will go with a polymer, that is PVC, polyvinyl chloride type of polymer. Okay, cover blocks they have been provided. And also aluminum type. Okay, aluminum type, but aluminum type is not so commonly used. Commonly used is concrete cover blocks, or I can say the polymer cover blocks. So these two cover blocks are predominantly used in construction practice, okay, in order to protect the rebar from a corrosion and to protect the reinforced concrete element from a fire. So these are all the things you should know regarding that minute cover blocks. So that minute cover block plays a very important role during construction practice or during the service life of a concrete structures. So this is regarding the effect of cover. Hope the things has been clarified. Okay, with this I am going to end the today's session. Okay, thank you.